Hello, America. This is Russell B. Couples again. I was just watching a video on YouTube from Senator Bernie Sanders from Vermont, and he raised a few important questions. Uh, he was talking about taxing the rich, the top 1%. Well, I tell you, I agree with that. I have misled in my position on that, the American people. I think that we should tax across the board evenly a certain amount of taxes uh, from a certain amount up, 35,000, 45,000 up, uh, all the way to the top. Make it fair. I believe in the free market. This is the United States of America. You're entitled to make as much money as you can, as you want to, as long as you don't hurt nobody else doing it. Well, the top 1% is getting tax breaks, tax cuts. Um, the oil companies, even they don't pay any taxes in, but yet they get a check from the government of abundance of monies, and that's not right. We need to keep it fair. I don't think the top 1% needs to tote most of the taxes in this country. That's not fair. That I don't consider a free market. That gets us more into a communist state. I would assume, or I think. Um, we need to stay away from taxing the top 1% to try to compensate um, for the deficit. Try to get the deficit down by taxing them more. Um, I think it needs to be a percentage across the board for everyone. Like I said, this is America. This is the United States of America. We do have a free market, and it is your right to make as much money as you can, like I said. But you can't do it by riding the system. You must pay in what you're due, regardless of how much money you make and how much money you have. You have got to pay in your share. That includes everybody that can. Uh, the length or the distance between the top 1% and the middle class and poor people, it's forever widening. Uh, you cannot have everyone in a country rich. If you do, there will be nobody working. If there's nobody working, there's nothing to buy. If there's nothing to buy, nobody's making any money. So therefore, you go broke. Everybody cannot be rich in any society, in any civilization. There has to be a working class. Has to be a working class. Um, you have to keep that in mind when you're doing taxes and laws and bills and legislation. You have to keep that in mind that there has to be a working class such as me. I would be considered a poor American, and that's okay. I'm doing my part. Um, I do pay my taxes in. I do get a tax refund every year. Um, but you know, my brother and his wife. I'm not gonna call no names or be specific in the money, but they have to pay in $800 this year to taxes because they made a certain amount of money. And if you scale that to the top 1%, then they are paying uh, a lot more than what they should. Like I said, I'm not going to go into real big details because it's not my place to, and this, you know, with all due respect, it's nobody's business. But I'm just using that as an example, that we must keep it fair. The top 1% must pay their share. It goes without saying that, you have to be fair across the board. If you're fair across the board, then nobody should complain. But I tell you something I don't agree with, and that's corporate tax. Our corporations pay 35% in taxes. Now, all right, yeah, you can look at that two ways. Well, 35% in taxes for a company that makes millions of dollars a year, billions of dollars a year, that's not that much. But you got to think of what it takes. All right, you figure you're running your household with 2 kids. You figure how much it would take to run that same household with 6 kids. You figure out how much it would take to run that household with 3,000 kids. You see what I'm saying? You you have to have a cutoff point on corporate taxes. That's what's running these businesses out of the United States. You have to be fair about it. 35% corporate tax is entirely too much. Most countries in the world do 28%, and some as low as 22%, so on and so forth. And that's the reason these companies are leaving America and going to these other countries. Well, you cannot pay 35% of your income if you've got that leaves no room for manufacturing, testing new products, prototypes, marketing. That dips into all of that. Overhead such as utility bills, health insurance, workman's compensation. That 35% is dipping into all of that. That makes a company very weak when they have that kind of income or that kind of monies that they're having to pay out of their profits. Well, that's not fair. You know it, and I know it. I don't care if a company makes 30 billion a year. If you're charging 35 to 38% corporate tax, then you got to think about the volume of that company making that much money. Then you got to think about what it took to achieve that much money. How many people are employed? How many products they have out on the market? You have to figure all of this in, isn't it? Into the equation. If you don't, then we will have no companies left. We have to be fair about the tax situation. Another thing that concerns me is health care. I believe in the free market society, like I said. But if you take and you force people to have health insurance, make them have to pay for that health insurance, then you are in turn giving the insurance companies just they can charge what they want to. All right, then you have to go back and you have to police these insurance companies. There goes your free market society. You cannot force people to have to buy insurance unless you're willing to police the insurance companies themselves and set a ceiling on what they can charge. And like I said, when you do that, then there goes the free market society. You do that, and that opens the door so you can police something else and do a ceiling. You're then getting into a socialist government. This is a free society, a free government, a free country, a free nation, a free people. We cannot do that. If the government wants to get into the insurance business, they need to be fair about it. I think the insurance companies charge entirely too much money. Doctors charge entirely too much money for people to that needs health care. They basically write them off anymore. My daddy passed away of cancer in the bed at my house. I watched him for the last 4 months of his life. Had to change him, big strong man. Had to change him, whole 9 yards. Now hospice did help a lot, but they could have done surgery to get rid of that cancer, and they didn't because the financial aspect was just they figured his life wasn't worth it. That is sad. Old people are being basically put out to pasture and says, all right, deal with it on your own. These are our ancestors. These are our generations before us that made this country what it is, that raised us, that took care of us, fed and watered us, kept us in clothes, kept a roof over our heads. These are the same people that we're throwing away. It's like, okay, what have you done for me lately? If you haven't done anything for me lately, I don't need you. Well, that's wrong. We must take care of the elderly. I respect my elders. I was brought up to respect my elders. And I think that the government ought to understand that. All of them have mamas, all of them have granddaddies and grandmoms and daddies and aunts and uncles. Do they not have a heart? They just let these people die, throwing them in nursing homes and saying good luck. I don't understand this. What is wrong with America? What are we doing? There was on another subject, 4 Muslim boys beat the snot out of a Christian football player because he was Christian in this country. I bet you anything them 4 boys will not be accused of terrorist acts. I bet they will not be accused of hate crimes. But if 4 Christians jumped on a Muslim, you better bet your butt that them boys are going to be charged with either terrorist acts or prejudice, hate crimes, something. This country was based on Christian values. You can say what you want to. You can say, I don't believe in God. You can say, I don't believe in Jesus Christ. I'm not religious. Well, that's beside the point. The point is you're in the United States of America, which is based on Christian values. This is the traditions of this country. You start changing traditions, you have no country left. You have to stick to certain rules, policies, bills, legislation, traditions. You have to keep a country standing tall, standing firm. You cannot change her. If you do, the nation falls. Remember that. Okay? Fight for what's right. Fight for the values of this country, the traditions, the constitutional rights, the Bill of Rights. These are America. If you do not like any of this, then please leave. You don't belong here because this is who we are. This is who we are. Please understand that. I honestly believe that we can work together. We can get this country back. But I want to tell you something real quick. I'm about out of time. When you're looking at a candidate to run for president, do not listen to the media. Do not listen to what's coming out of their mouth. Do your own research for what they stand for on your own. Do not base your decision on race. Do not base your decision on a political party. Do not base your decision on he said, she said. You do it on what you find out under your own research, and you vote for that person if you think that you have done the best job you can at research. If you think that they're going to do what's best for this country.